This episode is brought to you by Fifine Microphone. Fifine Microphone is a wallet-friendly but stunning audio quality microphone for any audio production. The Fifine T669 Studio Kit includes everything you need to start recording your podcast, voiceover, and gaming streams. The kit bundles the K669B USB condenser microphone and a versatile broadcast arm. Another impressive model is the K670B with built-in monitoring and a 16mm diaphragm delivering fuller, round, and warmer sound. Visit the link in the description for more information. What's up everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out. In this video, I'm sharing how I edit my B-roll sequences in Final Cut Pro 10. Let's go.
Ryan Little.
Now this video is going to be a little unconventional compared to my previous videos. It's going to be a little bit more loose in terms of the structure because I actually want to show you my screen and how I edit my video. I'm going to be editing some B-roll captured on iPhone 11 Pro Max on my recent trip to Puerto Rico in the beautiful Airbnb called Ocaso Luxury. Link is down below. If you ever visit Puerto Rico, I highly encourage you to check this place out. I'm dividing this video in 3 different areas: project settings, music, and color editing. Spoiler alert, I'm also including the LUT that I use to color my videos. Link is down in the description, but make sure you check out the full video so you can see how I use this LUT. All right, everybody, just to give you the heads up, we're going to spend a little bit of time here discovering the workflow and showing you some of the things that I do to make the videos look the way they look. Starting with this little item over here on the left side of the screen, right where I'm pointing at, that is the name of my event. To create a new event, all you got to do is either right click on the empty side over here. Think of an event as an album, right? For you to be able to narrow down and put all the footage that you're going to use on a specific project. From that menu, you can also create a project, and you can have a project live inside the event. When I create a brand new project, I like to select my settings over here. Usually I select 4K at 23.98. That is what's going to give you that cinematic look. Film traditionally uses this frame rate, 24 or less, but it all comes down to what you want to portray. You know, the standard in broadcast usually 30. You can do 60 for like a little bit more soap opera-ish look, but totally up to you. I usually select 23.98 for that cinematic look. Now, just to begin with, one of my favorite part of this whole process is the music. And for music, I use a service or a website called Thematic. Right? Thematic is a fantastic resource for content creators, so I totally recommend you to check it out. Link is down in the description for you to be able to check out Thematic and sign up if you want to. But the cool thing about Thematic is that you can browse music. They have fresh music constantly. They have a bunch of artists that they're featuring, new music, and their staff's pretty awesome. I have met them a couple times, and they're very, very supportive, very passionate group of people. So totally check them out. Right now, we're going to be using For Hyrule by the man Ryan Little. So I totally recommend you to check him out, and pretty much any of the creators that I've used in the previous videos. Cool thing also is that you definitely want to credit the artist if you're using Thematic, and they provide the links for you to include in your posts. That way, you know, you can help out the creator since you're getting amazing music from them. Now, I added the song file to my root folder, so to speak. That's where all the footage is originally. And I'm just simply now going to start placing a couple clips just to get a feel for what's happening. I often like to tell a story with my clips, so I like to start from like a beginning and then have some sort of movement or transition towards the very end. Notice how where I have my my pointer, I usually like to select the I for in, and then I find my out point. Once you select that little clip, you can either click and drag and place it in your timeline. I like to click the letter W often, and that just simply places that selection in your timeline, right? Get rid of that excess because I have my playhead ahead of time. And often I like to lower the volume because I'm going to be using Ryan Little's music. So I just go ahead and bring the track so we get a feel for it. Now, Ryan Little tracks are usually like right at the very edge of, the 0 decibel. They're like very, very high tracks. So I'm usually lowering it a little bit, probably 1 or 2 dBs, just so it's a little bit more pleasant and it matches any audio that you might have in your track. But I want to extend that clip that's where I want the song to end, because that indicates 2 counts of 4. So we got technically 8 clicks from beginning to end, right? And that, I feel that's a really cool kind of introduction to the video, right? You see the ocean, you see the little house on the right. I'm not adding transitions or anything. I'm just keeping it simple for this video, just so you have a little bit of an outline, a little bit of a mentality surrounding what I do in terms of the transitions, in terms of the clip placement and the music editing. By the way, all these videos were filmed with iPhone 11 Pro Max at 4K 60 with the native camera app. I'm not using any extracurricular tools other than a gimbal. I believe I was using the Smooth Mobile in this case because I was vlogging with them. All right, so now that we talked about the project settings and the frame rate and resolution, as well as the music and how important it is to edit to good music, let's go ahead and talk about color, right? Usually a lot of people ask me how I get the color that I get. And it's pretty straightforward. I actually created my own LUT. LUT stands for lookup table. And a LUT is, in a sense, pretty much a recipe, right? It's a set of numbers that the software translates into color, right? So it's like following a little recipe. Now you can add a LUT by simply going to your effects browser. You can simply search down on the search field for LUT, and you'll have the option to bring in a custom LUT and just simply drag and drop it right on top of your footage. Your LUT's going to be a file that you can download and pretty much summon. And I created my own, and it resembles a little bit of the fall colors and, the cinematic, the popular teal and orange, but just my little tweak and my take on that color grading. So I'm just simply going to go ahead and select that LUT. If not, you can always call back your LUT if you have it in your documents folder or in your desktop. I'm just going to select my LUT. And by default, you notice how my footage changed, right? The whole situation now is the sky is very, very teal. The mountain's very orangey. I typically dial it down to 0.8 or 0.7 just to make it a little bit more appealing, right? This is without the LUT, the way the phone captured it, and the way it looks when I apply the LUT. And it took me a little while. I was tweaking it here and there, making it look the way that I wanted it to look. I was using other people's LUTs prior to this, but then I went ahead and used Premiere Pro to create my own color correction based on the looks that I wanted. So that's kind of cool. If you want to check it out, feel free to download it. Links down in the description. And if you use it, tag me on the posts. That way I can see how you're implementing this LUT in your workflow. But now that I have that LUT applied to that specific clip, I can go ahead and repeat that process. Having said that, sometimes this might not be the best approach because I want to build my entire timeline and then I have to pretty much apply the effect to everything. So I often like to use what we call an adjustment layer. So I'm just going to go ahead and undo the effects that I've applied to that clip by deleting it from the top right. And under my titles, there is actually the option for you to download an adjustment layer. You can download the adjustment layer also, link is down in the description. But what it does is that it adds an additional layer on top of your footage. And I can apply my color adjustments to that adjustment layer so it doesn't impact my overall footage. That way, if I were to add any changes or substitute any clips, whatever's under that ceiling over there, whatever's under that adjustment layer will have the color and properties that I want. So I went ahead and add that custom LUT to that adjustment layer, and I'm calling back my teal and orange LUT, bringing it down to 0.7. That's usually what I like to do. You can also, of course, fine tune that to the way you want it. I often add a little bit of sharpness, so I'm just simply going to search for sharp, right? Bring a little bit of sharpen there, just to give it a little extra hint. Now the sharpen's very interesting. You don't want to overdo it, so I often do also like a 0.5 or just 1.0, just to give it a little extra sizzle. You don't want to overdo it either. Now once we've added our LUT and sharpness, the final piece of the puzzle is to add some letterboxing to make it look like a film. Now deliberately, when I'm filming, I am already accounting for the top and bottom crop when I'm adding the letterboxing. And Final Cut has a built-in tool for letterboxing. So all I'm really going to do is go into my stylize effects on the browser tab until you find the letterbox option. You can also search for it. I'm just simply going to drag and drop it right on my adjustment layer. And notice how we started to get some letterboxing. Traditionally, I select the 235x1. That is going to be your ultra wide cinema looking one. And notice how it definitely cuts out a ton of the top and bottom. That's why you have to give yourself a little bit of room when you're thinking about adding letterboxing to your footage. If you want it to give that cinematic feel, right? Those bars somehow in your brain trigger cinema. So the bars are really not that necessary, but if you want to differentiate vlog from cinematic B-roll or cinematic movie, definitely adding a little bit of a letterbox will add up to the overall experience. You can also film in anamorphic with Filmic Pro, for example. The Filmic Pro application allows you to crop top and bottom. That way you actually get only that much in the frame, so you can have natural letterboxing. But if you have a mix of both, then this is a really cool thing, so you can add consistency throughout your footage. Now, once everything is rendered and ready to go, you'll end up with something like this.
Ryan Little.
I hope this video added a little bit of extra context. That way you can see how the videos are made, and hopefully you find some takeaways that you can incorporate in your own videos. But I want to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down there so we can continue to create relevant content for you. Once again, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I'll catch you on the next one.
Ryan Little.